Greetings and salutations in distance. It is I, Wolfphototech, and here we are with another video. This time I'm going to quickly just go through Cyberpunk Red, the core rulebook. This is technically the 4th edition of Cyberpunk, but most people think of it as the 3rd edition. The actual 3rd edition, which is Cyberpunk V3, was rather unpopular by most people I've ever known of that knew of anything of it. And those that do not know of it, from what I've been told by people that do know of Cyberpunk V3, it's not a loss not knowing anything of Cyberpunk V3. So, for all intents and purposes, as far as society and the universe is concerned, this is actually the 3rd edition of Cyberpunk. The original 3rd edition has no reason to be talked of any longer than it has been. It is important to note that this game is a futuristic, dystopian TTRPG, near future to be specifically. It is important to note that this is a D10 system that also utilizes D6s for attacks and stuff like that. The book is about, 456 pages long. However, it is chock full of a lot of artwork. And it is actually rather well written overall. You have the cast and crew. The writing and design by Mike Pondsmith, James Hutt, Cody Pondsmith, Jay Parker, Jay Gray David, and Dave Eckerman, and Jay Kovac. The table of contents is a basic table of contents, which is, considering that this book is 450 some pages, probably should have been buffed up a little bit. It would definitely help out people when they're trying to learn the system. If you want something that is essentially a starter set for Cyberpunk Red, you got the Jumpstart Kit. And this is a good learning starting point. However, I probably would think that since that was released before the core rulebook, and there's been some updates between that to this, not a lot, just some updates from there to here, that R.Talsorian Games should probably, they don't have it in their plans as far as I know, but they should probably consider making a thing called a starter set or a beginner's box and release that as an updated version of the Jumpstart Kit or something entirely different with a whole bunch of new stuff that been polished around. The sections are called Never Fade Away, View from the Edge, Soul and the New Machine, Tales from the Street, Fitted for the Future, Putting the Cyber into the Punk, The Fall of Towers, Getting It Done, Friday Night Firefight, Net Running, Trauma Team, Welcome to the Dark Future, The Time of the Red, Welcome to Night City, Everyday Life, The New Street Economy, Running Cyberpunk, and Screamsheets. Now, the reason why I went and read it through like that is that gives you a good general feeling of what Cyberpunk is like. By the way, an excellent resource on YouTube, far better than me, is John the Wise and Seth Sarkowski. They both have various video series covering far better depth than I could ever do on this system. So I'm giving you a launching point in that direction. But anyways, here we go. As you can notice, throughout the book, you have a lot of red detailing. Every Cyberpunk edition has a color theme associated with it. I do believe second edition or Cyberpunk 2020 had black, and Cyberpunk V3, which I'm sorry to have mentioned it again, had lime green or neon green, which makes sense considering it's the edition that should not be and shouldn't be talked much more of, according to many sources. It's important to note that there is a lot of, in this book, there is a heavy focus on establishing the feeling of the setting. Most of the front section of the book is talking about what the dark future is like in a cyberpunk world, and the culture, lore, slang, and so forth. And it's all about attitude. Style over substance, as they say in the cyberpunk gaming system and culture. The importance of music in your cyberpunk world, as well as corporations being incredibly evil and government being incredibly incompetent, which and evil as well. Most people think generally the cyberpunk world is the situation of where the same thing with Shadowrun. I also covered Shadowrun very quickly, but if going over a lot of the details of the history from what I could pick up, quickly researching, in both cases, corporations became as powerful as they are because government was incompetent and oh so evil, but simultaneously just enough incompetence greater than the corporations that the corporations won out. So both sides are terrible, by the way, people, but the corporations were more efficient on both situations. View from the edge. By the way, I do like the organization. I have to point this out. I do love the fact that they use these bars here to break up various sections. Because for someone with a little bit of ADHD, having things broken up either with artwork or a bar of color makes it easier for the brain to process. Oh, I was reading, I heard something, I look back, where was I? Oh, I was right there. There's also note that they are exceedingly nice, and very important terms are oftentimes boldened. So you have Technoshock and Neo-Luddite. The term Luddite is a person who is afraid of technology. Yeah, that's important. There's some handy-dandy sidebars here and there. As I said before, the Cyberpunk is primarily a D10, D100 system with use of D6s for attacks and weapons and stuff like that. This section right here, View from the Edge, is largely covering the mechanics or the basic theory structure of the mechanics of the system. The prior section was just getting you into the lore and getting you set up with the thought track. This section right here is street slang. It is exceedingly important in the cyberpunk genre, or even in any future punk genre, that there is oftentimes slang worked in. This is the case with cyberpunk, and this is also the case with Shadowrun. Both systems have their own standardized culture slang for all kinds of things. And you also notice throughout this entire book, there'll be sections right here where there is advertisements for stuff in world. So periodically you'll be flipping through and you'll see an advertisement for a detective agency or a Ripper doc or something like that. The constant theme through the entire book is trying to get you into the mindset of being a character in this world. This spot right here, has a section on the roles. And as I said before, you got There is importance of music and culture, and that is evident by the term of Rockerboys, or the class or role of a Rockerboy. You got Rockerboys, solos, Netrunners, techs, Medtechs, medias, Execs, Lawmen, fixers, and Nomads. And then from there, you go to a deeper explanation of each class or role. It's not a true class in the sense that there's a level progression system or anything like that. It is simply that this is the archetype your character is in. You get a slight benefit to certain things that are related to that archetype. However, you are freely capable of building your character in a variety of ways. You could have a Medtech who is really good with guns, and you could have a Rockerboy who can heal people. The Medtech actually has some important features that makes them better at healing people. And the Rockerboy is better at manipulating people in culture. They're basically like the bard, minus magic. Solos are basically like fighters. Netrunners are like internet magicians. A tech is really good at building stuff. They're basically an artificer. Media is also culture manipulation. You got execs, lawmen. Interestingly enough, this is a range of characters in this, or roles that can actually be used in a variety of campaigns or adventures. You can have one where all your people are lawmen, and you're actually trying to stop crime. Or you could be an entire group of media people whose goal is trying to discover a mystery, the answer to a mystery. Or you're just street rats, shooting people, doing drugs, stuff like that, Or you could be people that are on a mission, doing whatever needs to be done to right a wrong or wrong some rights. But anyways, next into the section here is this the soul of the new machine. This is basically starting into the character creation section here, where you have various life paths. And this is actually one of the most fundamental, the unique thing to Cyberpunk is the life path system, where you basically just pick an option and you various roll for various possibilities, and you go down certain paths. You find out, apparently I had someone who died that I had to revenge, or something like that. You got a section on cultural origins, a D10 roll here, tales from the street here, your personality, dress, and personal persona. If you really wanted to, you could just roll everything and just this is my character, or you can just pick options depending on how your game master wants to go with it. This is more specifically into your life path system. Each character or role has their own life path options. You got tech life path options, and you have a media or executive life path options, and so forth. And this is all about establishing and building your character's backstory and where they're going and what motivates them. Yet again, some advertisement for a product in world. And then, as I said before, style over substance. Always. In this case, in Cyberpunk, it's all about fashion. Your hair, your clothing, all your other fun stuff. There's actually a few options here. By the way, there's 3 methods of character creation. There is just the basic pre-made each system, and then there is a half and half range where you have some options, but they're predetermined for you, and you just pick from the different sets. And then you have options where you customize every little thing. You pick out exact point by of like how rich you are and how tall and such and so forth, and this is the result that comes out from that. And as I said, you just keep going through the book, and solid artwork. By the way, the artwork is consistent from front to cover in quality and style. There are some TTRPG systems and books where, even like Shadowrun, where the artwork style was inconsistent. It kind of changed from here and there throughout the book, or say like Level Up Adventures Guide and Level Up Advanced 5th Edition books, where the art style is also inconsistent and really simple. But this whole section, the Fitted for the Future, is basically just character creation. And as I said, it covers 3 different entire systems of building your character, from picking your cyberware and your weaponry and spending out everything exact to just simply picking from some presets. So there you go. Putting the cyber in the punk. This section right here is all about putting your cyberware in your character. And there's a nice variety of rules. Incidentally, it's also exceedingly well organized, and very much I do love the fact that they include page numbers. So in case you have to ever move from one area to another, and you're reading something like, oh, there's cost, and you read the cost, at the end there's these big letters and numbers that says page 385. And that's really nice. Because just having page numbers thrown in here and there, or like little box tabs over here, see page, that expands you into another area. And for the most part, everything here is actually pretty easy to understand. Flipping through it, Mike Pondsmith clearly has solid experience in building and designing TTRPGs, but he's also quite good, and his team is quite good at organizing things in a fashion, even when they're putting a great deal of effort into putting in personality and flavor, that they manage to organize that personality and flavor in such a fashion that it is easy for you to read through sections and very intuitively understand where things are going. So having a simple table of contents in the front is not that big of a negative when they put page numbers throughout the entire book and tie all the things together. Like, you're reading through something and you want more information on this, go to this page right there. Yet again, it's all cleanly organized. Yet again, as I said before, if you look right there, multiple references to various page numbers. So it's not terribly hard to ever find where you want to go. You have a nice little section on here explaining the character sheet. And then it goes into, from there, it explains a bit more about recent history of the cyberpunk world. And then it goes back into explaining mechanics. Various calculations for all your stuff. As I said, the art style is actually quite consistent. I'm not gonna... My arms are getting tired just holding the book up so much. Clean, beautiful, good white background, good page quality overall. The charts are clean. There's good spacing around the borders. The text is nice, large size, so it's easy to read for people, even if you have bad eyes. You have good contrast, red, black, and white. overall. And if you page back a few more pages, it goes back into lore, corporations, different organizations in the cyberpunk world, important people within corporations. This book doubles as a player's book as well as a game master's guide. Everyday life costs and everything. The new street economy is a lot of this information. There is a basic set of this information that's earlier in the book. However, in this new street economy section, it compiles a whole lot of the little bits and pieces and reorganizes them into nice little charts and tables where you can roll a D100 for various items and the prices and costs of various things. You also have the convenient secondary table of contents section right here, referencing important stuff that you may need as a game master running the system. Various weapon systems and so forth, gear, armor, more cyberware, decks, programs, and so forth. Then you have some hostile programs and various characters as well. And then it explains various important locales and settings and so forth. And various themes you might want to run and play. And it's actually quite nice. I just skip a few pages, you know. I'm not going to show you every single page. But going back to here, you have a rare instance of a horizontal character sheets. It reminds me of, say, Pathfinder 2nd Edition character sheets, except that they're actually better organized. There is an official line of minis for Cyberpunk Red, and so forth. Now, this book is the core rulebook for Cyberpunk Red. I personally feel that this is an essential buy. If you want to play Cyberpunk Red, this is an essential buy for both the game master and the players. And as such, it is highly recommended. It is also very well organized. It's very well written. There's a lot of convenience aids throughout the entire book, such as the page numbers being referenced at the ends of various topics or items, in case you want more rules or etc., etc., etc. Turn to page 393 and so forth. That is awesome, by the way. Good spacing all around, very clean borders, a lot of very nice separations of paragraphs with various lines or objects, making it easier to read through if you have ADHD or yeah. So there you go. Not very many TTRPGs are this well organized. I would definitely put this like a 4-star. It is a D100, D10 in system. So the basis of the system is a D10. However, you have D100 option for the game master, start for randomly rolling tables. You have D6s for your various weapons, your submachine guns, handguns, melee attacks, and so forth. With some modifiers here and there for adjusting how much damage you do. It is not a level-based system. It is more skill stunt-based system. And what I mean by a skill-based stunt system is that instead of having levels in which you level up and you just get better at a few things, you have a bunch of different skills for your character, and you build them and you improve them in small increments here and there, and you get slightly better. But there is no defining level. Your character doesn't just level up and all of a sudden become much stronger in various areas. You just simply go through time, and whatever you're doing as a character, much like in Call of Cthulhu or RuneQuest, or even Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, stuff you do, the better you get. Small note about Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay: it's an occupation system, so you get like boosts. You don't have levels, but it's not necessarily tied to the things you're doing. You're just choosing which boost to boost at. So that's actually a weird exception to what I just said a moment ago. But all these systems are basically these skill-based systems right here. And this is a skill-based system right here. So if you are a person who enjoys skill-based systems, but you need a role for party composition and understanding what the thing your character specifically is to focus on, this system has roles. So it has a soft, basic class system, but it's a skill-based system. No levels. Okay? So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful weekend, a magnificent month, and see you next time. Ciao.